Hi, I'm Dr. Kandula with that, and today talking about a new solution for an age-old problem with the nose, which is really a nose that doesn't work properly from a runny nose, allergy issues, stuffiness, those sorts of things. So those issues have been around for a long, long time. A new solution has come onto the playing field, which is ClariFix, which allows us to really turn that runny nose off, turn that allergy irritation off. And so it has been a bit of a game changer, which is a good thing. So to really kind of describe what's happening here, if somebody's nose is constantly irritated or revved up, how that's happening is there are signals coming in from the brain into the nose. They're telling the nose either to create a lot of mucus or stay really irritated or sort of shut things down. And that comes in actually through one nerve on each side of the nose that comes into the back of the nose. And so in medicine, we've known this for a long time. We have not had a solution for this issue until now. And so what that's led to is an acceptance of some really annoying and debilitating issues. So if you have a constant runny nose, for instance, there's something we can do about that these days. We couldn't before. If you have allergy irritation, which is itchy, sneezy, those sorts of things, there's something we can do from a procedure standpoint nowadays that we couldn't do before. And so it really is, it kind of changes our mindset about how we might be able to help somebody. And so prior to ClariFix, prior to that option existing, the options that have existed over time are Band-Aids. So nasal sprays and pills that really they're doing the same thing. They're trying to sort of shut those signals down to some extent, but they're doing them temporarily, and all of them have side effects in using them either on a consistent or inconsistent basis. And so, really at the end of the day, from a medical standpoint, we had a problem that we identified over the time. It's been going on for a long time. The arsenal of solutions were very, very limited, very, very temporary. A couple years ago, a new procedure came onto the playing field, which is ClariFix. What that really involves is taking that nerve that comes into the back of the nose and shutting it down with cold, which sounds sort of strange, but it's very simple and a very revolutionary concept. And so what happens with ClariFix is literally you're taking something that's hyperactive, a nerve that's coming in, signaling your nose to run or become irritated, and you're saying, hey, we're going to give you a timeout for 30 seconds. That's how long that freeze happens. To shut things down. What ends up happening, just like a computer oftentimes, is when something's going haywire and you allow it to come to rest fully, that when it comes back online, oftentimes it's able to kind of get back in sync again, and that's what we found with ClariFix. And so ClariFix from a procedure standpoint is actually remarkably simple to do and to have done. It's something that's done under local anesthesia, so just in the office, we need to get the nose numbed up so that we can look in there properly. And literally all that it involves is us looking into the nose with a camera towards the back of the nose where that nerve comes in. We don't have to make any cuts or incisions or anything. What's happening is on the surface, we are placing a probe that gets really cold, and it gets cold for about 30 seconds. So we know where that nerve is and lives, and we get over top of that and we're shutting it down temporarily, and then that's it. So it literally takes about 30 seconds on each side. The effects, though, are significant and dramatic for most of our patients. So most folks who go through this, who have issues with the runny nose, the irritated nose, those sorts of things, will notice a pretty dramatic change in those signals coming in. And so it's a very high yield, low key sort of combination, which is a nice thing to have in our toolbox. And so for many folks, it's something that get it done, get them moving on with their lives, and maybe put the Kleenex away and put maybe the Claritin and the Flonase and all those other things away, which is a nice thing. And so there's really no particular downside. Worst case scenario with ClariFix is we do it and maybe it doesn't help as much as we're hoping for. That happens. So it does happen that way. It's pretty rare when that happens. And it is something that could be repeated if we feel like, man, we could maybe come after this in a maybe a different angle or something like that. So that does exist, but really it's pretty much all upside with minimal to no significant downside, which is a good thing. So for folks who have these issues, who've been suffering, I would say at this point, it's likely that you're needlessly suffering. There are things that we can do these days that can make a difference. And so really it's just letting folks know that those options are available, and then figuring out if you're a good candidate for something like that, and kind of going from there. And so I think, again, with all of the tools that we have available, ClariFix is one of those things. There are many other things that we have that really can provide solutions for people. And that's what that's what we're trying to do as a practice, is really trying to figure out what's happening and figure out if there's something we can do to change that, and ideally change that on a permanent basis. So ClariFix is the name of one technique that we use. There's other techniques that we can use these days to kind of address that same nerve, and that will kind of continue to be refined over time. Simple, effective, really revolutionary from a new concept standpoint, and I think we're just starting to see the impact this is going to have. This is something that is worth seeking out if you suffer from these issues. So ClariFix Cryotherapy is another name for this. Posterior nasal nerve is the name of the nerve that we're talking about back there. That can be addressed nowadays in a pretty simple fashion. So again, visit our website if you want more information, and take care.